Welcome back to the channel. Today we are back in the shop working on your favorite turbocharged 240SX build. If you're new here, welcome. This is my girlfriend's 1991 Nissan 240SX. We pulled it out of my buddy Anthony's yard and it was basically a shell and had no front end. And now we are almost running. In today's video we're going to get the car on the dyno, but first we got to get a couple ends buttoned up. As you can see, it has no wheels on it. Just, I don't have any. We put the new Z32 front calipers on, and obviously the wheels won't fit over those calipers. So I brought a spare set from my drift car, and the tires are absolutely smoked. So that's all right. The dyno only needs the rears. No big deal. We got to get the clutch line bled, the exhaust fixed. I just kind of temporarily threw this on, and it has too many leaks at the flange. I just tacked it on. To get an accurate O2 reading from the wideband sensor, you're gonna have to have no air leaks, obviously. So we'll have to get that replaced, pull it out, cut it off, weld the new one on. I actually got the correct size exhaust pipe, so that'll be easier since we were using a 3-inch exhaust pipe on a 2.5-inch flange. Doesn't work. Check the oil, put the fan belt back on, put it on the ground, and see if the clutch works. I'm assuming it does. It works in the truck. Again, if you're new, that motor's out of a D21, and the D21 wasn't worth saving, so we kind of just hucked the body, saved the motor, saved the transmission, and now we have a running 240. We need to get some fluid in here. I just plumbed this line. I actually stole this master cylinder from the D21. You have to cut the plunger rod about 1 inch, and there's still threads on it, which is pretty lucky. Spin it all the way back so that it fits between the distance from the pedal and the firewall, and it actually works fine. So we'll fill this up with fluid. This is the line from the D21, and I just modified the hard line to work. It's not pretty, but it was free. These two reservoirs are very, very dry rotted. So while we're on the dyno, one of these might start leaking. I think it's inevitable. So we'll have to address that later down the road. But we're pretty much there. We're gonna have to redo a couple of things. It's not done by a long shot, but it's getting pretty close. Let's fill this up, get the brake bleeder on the slave cylinder, and see if we can get a pedal. What are the chances this fits in there perfect? Not very. So we'll hook up the Sucker 5000 to the slave cylinder. Alright, so if you don't know what a Sucker 5000 is, this is a vacuum that's powered by compressed air, and you can connect it to the bleeder valve on your slave cylinder, and you can just suck all the air out of the entire cylinder, the master cylinder, and the line without having another person to help you, which is really nice when you work alone all the time. We've got a solid pedal, feels good. Let's get this fan belt on. Hopefully I remember to put all the pulleys on. Looks like I'm missing the bolt for the tensioner on the alternator. We'll have to fix that. Get the belt on, check the oil just in case. $10 at Napa. Can't beat that. Hopefully it goes around the fan, and it looks like it does. Oh, she's tight. Woo, that's right there. I guess that's how new belts are supposed to fit though, so. Need to find a bolt. This is why you always save your bolts from all your projects. Okay, that's the right bolt size and pitch. We just need the length to be a little longer. If you haven't yet, you gotta get yourself one of these. They are fantastic. You can really f some shit up with them. Well, that is way too tight. Ooh. I think we should probably turn it over. Okay, now let's get that exhaust welded up. Alright, we're going to cut this flange off. Okay. Told you it wasn't really on there. And you know, we're just gonna eyeball this, you know what I'm saying? Not too bad. Look how bad that thing is distorted. That's horrible. Talk about a restriction, eh? I know this is a pretty serious restriction, but we're only making like 200 horse, so we're gonna send it. This is stainless steel, and this is mild steel. So we're just gonna make it together, you know what I mean? And we're not even gonna care, because it's not permanent anyway. And you're gonna love it. Don't do what I do. Don't be like me. It's not the most beautiful welding in the world, and it is gonna be a restriction, I tell you what. And you might be asking, am I gonna cut it down? No, I'm gonna leave it this long, because it is funny. All right. That's gonna sound pretty funny, isn't it? Next, I'm going to fire it up, and I'm gonna see if we get a good amount of oil coming out of the head down the front case, because I don't have an oil pressure gauge. Oh yeah, we got plenty of oil pressure. Let's see if the clutch works. We're gonna build some heat, get the thermostat to open, put the wheels on, get this thing on the trailer. So we got these from my car, and they're absolutely smoked. That's okay. All I've got to do is drive on a trailer, off the trailer, and then onto the dyno. Get in there. That's your home. So these are the wheels that actually came with the car, and they'll do for now. This will be the first time I see it on the ground. Hopefully I don't have to put blocks under it. Ah! Lifts are amazing. They just suck when you have to work on the interior. It's just like the worst thing ever, though. It's pretty dark outside, so you're not going to see it getting on the trailer. But you'll see it pull out. That's pretty cool. Come on. It doesn't get much better than that. It's the next day. We got the car on the trailer. It's always a good day when we head down to New Mexico Imports. Gonna go see Eric Dotson from SQC. He actually tunes all of my cars. If you're new to the channel, you probably don't know him. If you're an OG, you've seen all the dumb shit we've tuned in the last couple years. We had a little bit of a timing issue. We resolved it though, okay? Update. My charger is not working. I don't know why. So we have 1, 2 batteries and a jump pack that's plugged in. Should be all right. But you just have to Okay, all right, I know. It's the next day, okay? Things didn't go as planned, and that's life, okay? Car's on the trailer again. It runs, drivability's there. You can drive it around, idle's good, throttle response is good, decel's good, but we have a timing issue between the distributor, crank angle sensor, and the computers. Something's going on. We couldn't get the timing exact, and I think the harmonic balancer isn't marked right. So what we're gonna do eventually, not today, because I'm actually leaving the country and don't have time to finish it, but what we got to do is put number 1 cylinder at top dead center, and then we're going to put a new mark on the harmonic balancer itself so that we can get, I think we wanted at 10 degrees, and we'll lock it in. Let's get it unloaded and you can listen to it run. Runs good. It's just, we weren't making the power. What was happening, the wastegate actually was opening at like 10 pounds, which is pretty good. And it was boost creeping all the way up to like 12. So that's a pretty good benchmark. I like the boost level, but we were only making like 130 horsepower, something like that. It's terrible. It's bad. I think these things make like 90 horsepower stock, so we should have been getting at least 200 out of it, and we were not. So we are going to go through it again once I get back and take a look at everything. But I figured I'd get this video out so you guys can see exactly what happens. You know, things don't go to plan that often, but when they do, it's nice. When they don't, it's not a big deal. We'll get it running eventually. And the tire went flat on the dyno, so that's, you know, that's lame. So we're gonna unload it, we're gonna throw it under a tarp, and once I get back, then we'll figure out the timing issue, shred some tires. I know, kind of blue balled you a little bit, it's my bad. Well, there you have it. It's running. It's there. It's 95% there, besides, you know, the panels. But it runs. Drivability's there. It's good to go. All we need to do is figure out the timing with the distributor. Maybe that sensor is kind of off, or it's just the marks on the harmonic balancer, which we looked at it when we were on the dyno, and we didn't have enough time to really diagnose it. He had a 1 o'clock appointment, so kind of had to cut it short. That's life, but we'll pick it back up here about 2 weeks, get it done, get it dialed in, and hopefully smoke some tires off, and the motor stays in one piece. Again, we did put bearings in this thing, so it could slip a bearing, who knows. That'll be it for this video. If you enjoyed the car, there's a full series of videos down in the description. You can see from when this thing got picked up, when it was just a shell, to where it's running now, and everything in between. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel, and it doesn't cost you anything, and we'll catch you in about 2 weeks.